Today, we're going to talk to two sellers who have sold millions of dollars on Amazon from opposite sides of the world, and they're going to share with us their journeys and strategies that have helped them along the way. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And we've got a couple of people here that, I don't know. I don't think have I ever met either of you guys in person before?
I've met you in person at
Okay.
the AMZ One Step conference in Canada.
Oh, yes, that one.
Yes.
But what about you, Jansen? Have I met you in person?
It's just a dream to meet you, Bradley. I think I've interacted with you in the Helium 10 group, but we've never met. That's the problem with being based in the UK.
No worries. Like the world's opening up now, but what happens is, I meet so many people that, and I love doing it, but with my bad memory, sometimes I'll have like, I've never met this person. Oh no, we've met 17 times at different conferences. I'm like, oh, whoops, my bad. But the point is that, whether we've met or not, like we're all in this e-commerce space together, and it's just really cool to get different perspectives. Now, you two, have you ever like interacted before personally?
No,
online or in person?
It's we haven't. It's really weird, isn't it? You don't think that the Amazon FBA kind of world is that big. I've been selling and doing YouTube videos for 4 years now, but I think Kevin's been around a fair amount of time as well, but I've never interacted. The algorithms never show me his videos.
I love it.
So yeah, it's great to meet you.
This is another kind of like trying another thing I try and do a little bit differently in the podcast, where I bring people from literally opposite sides of the world who I've never met, and we're all together here, all three of us now on the same podcast, because we're all in this e-commerce space, and there's something that we can learn from all of us. So let's go ahead, and since this is the first time that either of you have been introduced to our audience as a whole, let's just get a little background. Let's start with you, Jansen. Where are you located? Where are you from? And tell us about how you got into e-commerce.
Yeah, so my name's Jansen. I'm based in London in the UK, so British. I first kind of came across Amazon FBA late 2017. My background's kind of finance and banking. And at that time, I was going through a lot of stress, anxiety from work, and I was just desperate to seek some sort of second income stream to kind of relieve me of that. Bitcoin at the time was supercharging to 20K, which ironically it's back towards now. And I was kind of looking at bot trading and anything to do with that. And then Amazon FBA just came up on YouTube, and I've always been a bit of a entrepreneur, wheeler dealer. At school, I was always the kid to be selling candy and all sorts. So I thought this looks really attractive. And yeah, basically ever since then, started learning it, started selling, and I've just grown and grown. So I started selling in late 2018.
In Europe or in America?
Yeah, well, I initially started in just the UK.
Okay.
Then I expanded out towards Europe. Then good old Brexit happened, which you guys know about, and I kind of thought, there was a lot more admin issues raised because of that. I wasn't that good at French, Spanish, and German, even though I had learnt a bit at school, but just not enough to kind of make it worth that additional effort. So I exited from Europe. I now do just the UK.
And that's where you just started too. And you started with UK.
Yeah.
When you got started, did you go right into private label? Did you do any arbitrage or drop shipping, or you just like started with a private label product from day one?
I just went straight in there. I thought, for me, private label was the most scalable and something that would kind of require the least amount of time once I was, established. Whereas I thought with arbitrage, you're always hunting for deals and, got, I suppose, to
You still selling that first product?
I am, yeah. I've still got my same first product, and I've expanded to two different products now. So
that's not, hey guys, I hope you're listening out there. That's not always a common. That's what, 5 years ago, right? to be
Yeah,
still selling the
absolutely.
same first product. You know, a lot of people they start, and I don't want people thinking, hey, they're going to knock it out of the park on their first product. A lot of people ask that same question too, like, oh no, you know, that was kind of a failure, but I use it as a learning experience. Here we go. Jansen got
Yeah,
off on the
yeah.
right foot, still selling that same first product. Impressive.
Absolutely, and it's certainly not been an easy ride to get to where I am today, and that was something that I thought would be really interesting to your listeners today to hear about some of the stuff that I've been through, in terms of the lows. But yeah, it's been such an enjoyable experience. I've got like 20 products now under two different brands just in the UK. I am really keen to try out the US, but cash flow is so stretched, doing like $180,000 a month revenues, just in the UK. So whenever Amazon pays me, that's going straight out the door to my supplier. So I've just kind of not really had the opportunity, or the cash flow to be able to expand further. But the market's big enough in the UK, I feel, for my particular niche. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe when I get to be a bigger fish, I'll come over to you guys, and yeah, I'll come over to California where you're based, and
There you
hopefully
go.
meet you.
All right. All right. How about you, Kevin? Like, where's your origin story start?
Yeah, so my name is Kevin Pack, and I am also based out in California as well. And yeah, I've been selling for the last 4 years or so. I think I actually started the same time as Jensen, around like 2018, late 2018. And yeah, so before Amazon FBA, I was a personal trainer. So fitness was a big part of my background. I was doing that for years. But I soon came to realize that I could not stand personal training people for the next 30, 40 years of my life. And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, these bones are going to start aching. So I needed to find an exit plan out. And that's where I just came across Amazon by just literally just like Google searching how to make money online. And Amazon was one of those things that came up. And there's other things like real estate and like Shopify dropshipping as well. But Amazon just made a lot of sense. I shop on Amazon all the time. It only made sense that I just why not put my product in front of there as well. So yeah, so I've been selling for the last 4 or 5 years or so. And I actually, like Jensen, I'm still selling my first successful product. That's been running around for about like 3 years or so, something like that. So yeah, that's where I've been at, and yeah, it's been a pleasure and a crazy, crazy journey for sure on the road. A lot of ups and downs as well, especially during like the COVID time as well. We're picking up the pieces back from where that all left off, and yeah.
Are you only selling the U.S. or have you expanded? You know, are you doing any other marketplaces? You know, like Canada or Europe or anything like that?
Yeah, currently I'm just in the US market as well. I'm just going to focus on honing in on that one. Currently don't have any plans to go into like Canada, Mexico, or the UK at the moment.
Okay. All right. Now going back to Jansen here. You know, we have a lot of listeners that are based in the UK. Now, what's the what's the process like? You know, is it easier now after Brexit, where it's like, hey, you're not having to worry about having about 17,000 different VATs, you know, for each country? Is like all you have to worry about is your UK account, and your inventory all goes to one warehouse, or how does it even work? Or what's it like for a UK based seller selling only in the UK?
Yeah, so if you're a UK based seller selling in the UK, then pretty much the process is unchanged. The only slight difference is historically, if your supplier was based in China, they'd send goods via, I don't know, UPS if by air or by sea, and it would go through customs clearance in like a central hub in Germany, which is massive. And then it
Mhm.
would clear customs, and then because UK was part of the European Union, it would be pretty much next day delivery.
Okay.
Now, because we're not part of the EU, you have to send goods and they clear in the UK. The customs hub there is a lot smaller, so the wait time for clearing of customs is a little longer. It's probably like a week or so. But in terms of other differences, it's negligible. The only kind of difference now is if you do want to sell in Europe, then it's a little bit trickier. So before, you could have your goods stored in the UK with Amazon, and if a Spanish customer, French customer, whatever bought something from you, then Amazon would just ship the goods from the UK warehouse to the customer in Europe, and they wouldn't need to pay taxes or duties, right? Whereas now, because we're not in the EU, if a customer wants to do that, they're technically importing from a foreign country that's not part of the same customs agreement, so they'd have to pay additional duties and taxes. So it's more expensive for them. Um, I guess you guys would have it the same in the US if you import from Canada, maybe. I don't know
Mhm.
if you would pay duties or whatnot. So there's that. And then Amazon runs a program called the Pan European Program,
Yep.
where before Brexit, you'd have goods, brought over to the UK, and they would Amazon would automatically distribute those goods throughout Europe for you. They paused that program for about a year and a half when Brexit happened. I think they've just reinstated it, but it's a lot tricky now. I think people, what they're doing, more experienced sellers, are just shipping straight to a German warehouse or a French warehouse and then letting Amazon distribute that way, as opposed to the easier option, which was shipping to a UK warehouse and then Amazon, can do it all for you. You can't really do that now. But for those of us just looking to sell purely in the UK, it's not really that different, and it's still really attractive. The UK is one of the biggest markets in Europe for Amazon. You've
Mhm.
got Germany, which is growing at a huge
Yeah.
rate, but Spain, Italy, France, they're still pretty young in the life cycle. And then Amazon's also introduced Turkey, Sweden. Like, they do more and more countries every month, but those markets are so small compared to the UK. So I don't see it at the moment as a great disadvantage to just selling in the UK versus
Okay.
other.
Now this next question is kind of related, but I'm not sure if you know the answer to it. But I'm just curious. You as a British citizen selling in the UK, me, let's American citizen. Let's say I want to sell in the UK. Do either of us have advantage or disadvantage? Like, am I paying the same exact taxes as you, or are you paying more because you're local, or am I paying more as a foreigner? I'm just curious how that works, if you know.
Yeah, so you would have an immediate disadvantage versus a brand new seller, because if you've got a US LLC, so
Okay.
US company, versus a UK seller, you immediately need to register for VAT in the UK, which is like your
Hmm.
sales tax, except it's 20% here. So brand new sellers here that are under the VAT threshold don't have to charge that 20% like sales tax, whereas you do. So your margins are going to be a little bit thinner. And that was something that the Chinese sellers historically avoided, because they would underdeclare the value of their goods when importing, and they just wouldn't be paying that sales tax to our government effectively. So what Amazon did last year is they changed the rules, where they said, now any foreign seller that sells on our platform within the UK, we are going to deduct 20% from your sales price. So taking that off and basically collecting that tax on the tax collector's behalf. So that's kind of a disadvantage that you'd have. You're immediately having to have that sales tax incorporated in your revenue price,
So
which
the price that's listed on the detail page, the retail
yeah,
price,
yeah,
that's including that extra. Like, I set a price in Seller Central, but
yeah.
then Amazon is adding, me as a foreign seller, Amazon is adding 20% to
No, they
that.
deduct. They deduct. So in the US, when
Mhm.
you see a sales price, you have to, in your head, add the sales tax. Am I right with that?
Well,
So if you see
like for
$20,
a lot of the states, we have something called marketplace facility. Almost all the states now, if not all, have something called marketplace facilitator tax, where there's the retail price is the retail price, but then Amazon is adding on tax in the checkout portion. But like that doesn't affect the seller at all. Like, Amazon's collecting that, they're submitting that. But what I'm curious about is the detail page before the checkout process. How does it work in the
it's the
UK? Like,
exact same. It's the same for the customer. So the customer
okay,
goes on the detail page, sees £20.
yeah.
That's how much they pay. But that £20 includes the sales tax effectively. So these foreign sellers, such as you, if you wanted to sell in the UK, would have, £2, £3 deducted from what goes in your balance, right? Because that's the sales tax that they collect. So that's the disadvantage you get. And then beyond
So it
beyond
doesn't pass
that,
on to the customer.
no, it doesn't. I mean, they basically just say the price that you want to charge includes sales tax already.
Mm.
So, whereas if you're a brand new seller, a brand new company in the UK, and you're based in the UK, you only have to register for this VAT when you hit £85,000 in revenues. So for a brand new seller looking to get started, that has a huge advantage versus the
Sure.
international guys.
Okay, interesting. All right. Kevin, you've been selling for a while. I'd like to know about your biggest win and biggest loss. Now the win could have been planned, like, hey, you had this strategy of some influencer marketing campaign and it worked exactly as you thought, or it could have been just completely random how you had something go viral. Same thing on the loss. What's the biggest L you've taken in the last 4 years, and what sellers can learn from the biggest. Well, let's start with the good news first. So what's like you think in the last 4 years like the most incredible thing that either on purpose or randomly happened to you in your Amazon business?
The best thing that ever happened to me on Amazon was when I prepared just enough inventory for Q4. And Q4, so I sell in the toys category. So like that's a huge time for my product line, right? And sometimes like predicting inventory, you have to predict your inventory back in August, right? That's when you need to know like how much you want to send into it so you have it on time. So predicting that month, or just predicting Q4 inventory for me and just hitting it right was huge for me, because that allowed me to have enough inventory to keep up with all the demand and allowed me to hit a record month of like I think I did like 206,000 during December. And so that was like my best month ever, but it only happened because I ordered just enough inventory for that, and like I literally sold out like on like January 1st, and then I was out of stock for maybe a couple.
Was it random, or what did you base it on? Were you looking at what your competitors were doing, or how did you land on that such a good number?
So I projected it based off of the previous year's number, looking at my competitors as well, and then how I was doing currently for the year, and then just kind of multiplying it from my previous experience. But then because I kind of predicted, because of the whole pandemic circumstances, and there's more customers on Amazon, I just a little bit more than what I usually would have done. So in my just inventory management planning I feel like has been like my biggest win in the last 4 years, is just doing that pretty consistently. And then also utilizing my cash flow pretty properly. So that's probably my biggest wins.
And then what's like the biggest hit you've taken on something?
Biggest hit, I tried a seasonal product. So I tried a product that was like a Valentine's product, and I totally missed like the manufacturing process of it took way longer than I was supposed to, and I ended up missing like the time I should have gotten inventory in. So like I was supposed to get inventory in. This is a Valentine's product, and I was like, I wanted to try a seasonal product, and it was like a trendy product. And then I saw it. I thought it was supposed to come in and have my inventory in by like January 10th. But what ended up happening is I didn't end up getting my inventory until February 10th. And so that you only got like 4 days until Valentine's left. At that point, I just had like, it was too late for that point. So yeah, so poor timing for sure on the.
So then what happened?
Part. What happened was,
what did you do with all that? How many units was that?
Well, I think I ordered like 1,000 units for that product. And but it wasn't very expensive either. It was only like $1 or $2 a piece.
So then did you like leave it at Amazon? Did you pull it out to a warehouse and saving it for the following year, or what happened to all that stuff?
It's currently still sitting there, to be honest.
In Amazon.
So it's still sitting in Amazon actually. So I haven't fully decided what to do on it just yet, because it still sells a little bit, but it's not like a huge velocity like if it was like during Valentine's Day. So it's one of those like anniversary type of gifts. So it's like technically you could sell it throughout the year type of thing, but it would have hit really well during Valentine's. So yeah, with the factory, they just took a lot longer than they expected it to be. And then the shipping was still kind of it was still on the fence there. Shipping hadn't fully recovered just yet. We were still getting delays of like an extra like 10 days or so. So these things add up. Like each of these days add up over time. And so I didn't predict well enough for that, and that's what happened.
So like I think a lot of people are in the same boat. The last year, the shipping delays and port shutdowns and manufacturing delays, has caused a lot of people to have issues. That's just something important to know, that there are some products it's not that big of a deal. But if you guys are doing a seasonal product, you might want to give yourself, a couple months extra leeway on things to make sure something like that doesn't happen. Now, have you launched any new products like in the last, I don't know, like 8-9 months, since the changes, Kevin, in like, hey, now you can't do search, find, buy, and two-step URLs and things like that. And if so, in the last 8-9 months, like, what's your strategy these days on how you're getting the initial, kind of momentum for new products that you launch?
So that seasonal product was the most recent one I've launched so far. So I
Okay.
haven't launched any new ones, but I do have two products
So
in
did you do? I
production
mean,
at the
did you
moment.
just kind of like not even give any effort since you missed Valentine's, or did you still try and do a little something extra, be it PPC or something like that?
Yeah, I still tried a little bit. So I was pretty conservative with it. I knew that because it was basically technically out of season, I couldn't go super aggressive. Otherwise, I was just gonna burn through like PPC. So what I did was just I kept my campaigns pretty conservative. So I just had like a few manual exact campaigns, a few or just an automatic campaign as well. And I kind of just put low budgets on that and kind of just tried to let this run out, like sell in the background over time type of thing. And I also use the Vine program actually is pretty good. So I like using the Vine program as well to get initial early reviews as well. And if you guys don't know what the Vine program is, basically you enroll your products in, and these customers on Amazon get these products for free, and they basically present a very honest review, and they have like their own little badge on when they leave a review on Amazon.
What about you, Jansen? What's your have you launched any products like in the last 8 months or so? And what's regardless, what's your strategy that you're
Yeah.
promoting?
So yeah, I've launched a number of products over the past few months, and I've kind of been testing different strategies. I actually just launched one last week with no reviews. I was just quite interested to see what the performance would be like. So I started off with setting up pay-per-click campaigns. So I've done an exact targeting campaign and a phrase campaign, which I just basically got from running Cerebro on competitor listings and looking at the keywords that they were ranking for and which had volume. So I've done that. I always put a coupon on. I find that if you launch at the same price as a competitor, adding a coupon on, which in the UK gives you like a little orange badge. I don't know if it's the same color in the US, but it's really eye catching. So I do that. And yeah, I basically just keep increasing the PPC budget day by day, keeping an eye on how the rank position's doing with rank checker, and yeah, I find that works pretty well, really. I when I'm doing my product research and when I'm trying to understand the niche, I always make sure that my hero image, so my main image, looks a little different to everybody else's. So you've got the eye catching aspect there. Something else that I always do, and this definitely would work for you guys in the US, is throughout my listing, I just absolutely hammer it that I'm a UK brand. And one of my bullets, I say we're a UK brand that is passionate about, and then I talk about my niche, and I say we'd love it if you were to support us, etc., etc. And that really works for me. I get reviews so frequently that say really happy to support a UK company. That's the reason I chose this, and so on. So little things like that, the coupon, the mentioning the UK brand, having a better picture, and so on, that kind of all adds to the conversion level that you can get. And obviously that's really important during those initial few weeks of your honeymoon period when you're launching.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like you have to be always obviously very careful about reviews, but in general, like even some of the services that used to do search, find, buy, they've kind of like pivoted towards towards kind of like not necessarily review groups, but it's getting feedback. Not even necessarily on Amazon, but like I've talked about AZ Rank, how they used to do search, find, buy, but they have tens of thousands of customers, but now instead of trying to get them to do two-step URLs and things, we use a service to have them buy the product and then go through the flow and give real feedback to us. And this is something, yeah, you could do with people in your network where it's not even necessarily about reviews. But now if they want to leave a review on their own, that's up to them. But I've always preached that, hey, stop thinking that you yourself know 100% the best of what your product needs and what's the best value points and what are the positives and negatives. nine times out of 10, you have, you know, 5, 6, 7 people get your product. They're going to give you insight on things that you probably didn't even consider. So it is a kind of good thing to get that initial thing. And yes, you know, sometimes, you know, people are afraid that, hey, you know, maybe if I'm using my own Facebook friends or or just people in my network or people who have been on my Wi-Fi, maybe Amazon will know. So, you know, you can ask friends of friends, but to get that initial feedback is really important. So that's good that you guys are doing that in different ways. Now, are you Jens, are you manufacturing everything in China for your
Yeah.
products? So how has that
Yeah.
been? You know, obviously for Americans, it's or Americans for people selling on Amazon USA, I should say, regardless if you're American or not. You know, so we've gone from, you know, like maybe, you know, 2 years ago, it would take like four weeks to get stuff here to sometimes 2-3 months. Has it been similar situation over the last year in the UK where shipping times, shipping cost and time have both doubled or more?
Yeah, it's the past few years has been really, really testing actually, when it comes to being an Amazon seller, and it's a lot of that is due to shipping costs. So and just shipping transit times. So the costs themselves have increased, or historically did increase huge amounts. They've actually started to come down now, but I was paying per unit by sea around 15 cent. That's increased to about 50 cent per unit at the height of the pandemic, and now it's probably on average about 40 or 35 when you work it out. So yeah, the costs have increased a huge amount. I'm actually pretty lucky because my products are all really small, but I know tons of people that have had, you know, larger, bulkier products that have just had to stop selling them because they just became uneconomical. I don't know if this hit the news over in the US. It probably did, but you heard about the huge what's it, ever something ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal. Yeah, so that obviously kind of added fuel to the fire, massive increased delays because of that. And every time a delay or something happens, or something, you know, disrupts the shipping transit times, it you know, pushes costs up, makes delays even worse for a number of months. So I don't know, touch wood, things are actually going okay at the moment in the sea shipping world. It's probably taking about 4 or 5 weeks, um, you know, for the ship to port. We don't have the Matson liner that I think you guys do, which is like an express line. Ours is just really slow boat. But yeah, I was actually looking at my lead times today, and it's around 60 days in total from the moment I order it to the moment it comes in. So that's why it can be a real challenge with cash flow and with planning, because you're having to pay your supplier up front, and then you're not actually going to be seeing revenues from those products for, you know, could be 2 or 3 months. So you have to be really careful with your planning and what type of product you buy. Like I said, my product's quite small, so I have got the flexibility of getting air shipping if needed. But yeah, just, you know, in summary, it has been a real struggle. But I'm confident if you've made it through this period, think how much money you're going to make when things do truly normalize and, you know, shipping costs come down to what they were.
For the rest of the episode, I want to do what we call the TST 30-second tips. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly 30-second, but I want to see, you know, I like focusing on strategy too, and you guys are both successful sellers, and so I want to hear like what your unique 30-second tip might be that. And it's something, it's not like, okay, hey, I try and keep my A cost down, or something no brainer. I want some kind of unique stuff here where it doesn't have to be something that only you do. You think you're the only person in the world doing it, but something, you know, what are some of the strategies that have helped you that you think, you know, other people can implement? It's something that, you know, not 90% of people already know how to do. Let's start with Kevin. We'll just go like one back and forth between you two here.
For sure. Yeah. So one tip that I have, because a lot of people wonder, like, how do we talk about differentiating a lot, right? But people don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean differentiate? What could I do to differentiate?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of narrowed it down to 5 points of differentiating that people can always kind of rely on. One of them is bundling. The next one would be aesthetics. The next one would be quantity. And then the next would be functionality, and then
Okay.
quality. So these are 5 things that I always kind of revert to when I always want to think about, like, how do I differentiate a product? Can they match any of these 5? Or ideally, I mean, all of them. That would
What's
be
your
awesome.
criteria on the bundling? I like that, and there's different ways to do it. There's not just one way. So, are you like one of the ones who maybe looks at existing single product and then you notice that there's always frequently bought together about another one, or you kind of come up with some new ideas, or how do you decide what to bundle together for a new product?
Yeah, so when I see like frequently bought together of the same item, I feel like that's more of a quantity type of differentiation. So like 5 packs, 10 packs, etc. When it comes to bundling, I like to think of it as is there anything frequently bought together that's different complementary items? I also like to look into the reviews and see if people wish it comes with something else. And I also like to think outside of the box as well and seeing like what is the niche as a whole and what kind of people are going to be buying this product. Is it going to be like a mom? Is it going to be like a dad? What kind of person is going to buy this product? And what would they additionally like to add on to this offer, this product offer? It doesn't make sense, obviously. It can't be random. It needs to make sense. And I think sometimes people will take bundling as a double-edged sword because sometimes it'll be like you bundle the right thing and people want it. But then if you bundle the wrong thing, then people are like, I don't want to pay extra for something I don't want or need. It's like, so those are some tips I have about bundling as well.
Let's go, Jansen. What's your first 30-second tip of the day?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of furthers onto Kevin's point about differentiation. A lot of people out there say, yeah, you've got to differentiate somehow, but one of the hardest parts of doing that is just figuring how. So a method that I kind of started doing immediately and has worked really well for me over the past few years with finding new products is getting suppliers to help you with your product research. So what I'll do, for example, is if I'm doing, just looking for a product idea, I'll start with, say, helium-10 or just browsing on Amazon. If I then find a product that I think looks good, it's got demand, it seems profitable, rather than just approaching suppliers and saying how much for this product and finding something that looks identical to what is already available, I'll always say to them, do you have a newer model version of this product, or can you send me your sales catalog so I can see the other models that you have? And that's actually something that I did with one of the latest products that I launched this year. I saw that everything on Amazon looked the same. It was all the same model. It was the same supplier. And I just said to them, do you have an updated version of this, or are you working on anything else? And they said, yeah, we've got something coming out. It's going to be ready in the next 6 weeks. So I said, can you just send me the sample ASAP? And they said, we can actually send you it now, but it's just not finalized. So they did. So because of that, I got straight to the front of the queue before anybody else. I then launched that product in January. So I've had nearly 6 months now of having that product before anybody else. It's honestly, it's only this week that other people are now starting to come to market with a similar looking product. I've already got over 150 reviews, and it's doing really, really well. And it's all because I kind of took that initial step of thinking ahead and saying, rather than just going for what everybody else is getting and trying to differentiate by like bundling or having a better listing. Of course, those are important. I thought, do something that looks different, because the customer will immediately notice that and it'll step out. So that is my key tip. I love sharing that one because something that anybody can do.
All right, back to Kevin for one more tip from you.
Okay, another good tip I have is when it comes to like pay-per-click advertising, I think a lot of people overcomplicate the concept of it, and people sometimes feel overwhelmed when it comes to like optimizing their PPC. So one thing I always tell people is keep it simple, and at the end of the day, if you're struggling, if you're feeling overwhelmed with your PPC advertising campaign, just always remember that you're always going to put more money to what's working and less money to what's not working. So that way you can kind of distinguish, more like, okay, if this is clearly a high A cost, I shouldn't just sit there and just leave it there. I know that it's a high A cost, so let me bring down the bidding for that or something like that, right? And I feel like people get into like an analysis paralysis type deal with PPC sometimes. So when you kind of break it down simply, just remember that you're always putting more money to what's working and then less money to what's not working. It kind of simplifies things and really at the end of the day is allows you to take further action instead of just letting your PPC just kind of like do its thing.
All right, the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Out there is what we should be doing for PPC. I like it. All right, Jansen, one more tip.
So mine would be try your best to connect with the customer and help them to resonate with your brand. So I was speaking earlier about making it a big point on your listing about the fact that you're a US or a UK based brand. One of the things that I also do as well, and my wife kindly volunteered for it, is I have a photo of her on my listing holding the product saying, "Hello, my name is Steph. I'm the founder of this brand. It was created because there were so many problems with the existing ones on the market. I'm incredibly passionate, and if you love doing XYZ, then you'll love my product." And that really works. And I kind of bring that all together in my images. So she's in my images as well as in the kind of A+ content. And within my follow-up sequence that I have, I sign it off. I say, "Hi, it's Steph here. I'm the founder of, this brand that you've purchased. Just emailing to say thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you for supporting my business. And then, please leave a review or whatnot." Doing all that together, it really, really works. And like I said, I do get a lot of people reaching out and saying, that first of all, they say, "Wow, you're a genius for inventing this product," because they don't understand what private labeling is. So I'm happy to take the credit there. But, they say, "I'm really happy to support a British business. I love the personal touch. No one else gives that." It really surprises me, actually. I get emails from people saying, "This is the first time I've ever had a seller reach out to me following a purchase." And, I guess to those of us that follow Helium 10 and whoever on YouTube, doing follow-up sequence is kind of just like standard practice. But probably when you look at the entire seller universe, it's actually a very small proportion of people that do it. When I think about it, I don't think I've received many myself. So it's little touches like that, just making the customer realize that it's a real person selling this product. And if you can, highlight to them that it's a person rather than a huge corporation, those little things there would make them far more inclined to want to purchase from you, give you a positive review, support you, recommend you, and so on. Sorry, that's a bit longer than 30 seconds, but
yeah, the T in TST there was 2 minutes instead of 30 seconds. All right, real quick, back to Kevin. Your what Helium 10 tool would you not be able to live without, and why?
Keyword tracker. I love keyword tracker. That one's probably like my go-to ride or die tool right there. Keyword tracker is definitely what I use to just make sure the business is on point, flowing the way it should be. I can tell what kind of changes I need to make if I drop ranking on things, or if I'm increasing ranking in things. I can make the appropriate decisions when I have keyword tracker. So that's my boy right there. Keyword tracker right there.
All right, Jensen, what about you? What's your favorite Helium 10 tool strategy, or just tool in general?
I think the favorite feature of mine is like the bestseller ranking chart that you get on the listing page. It gives you a really, quick insight into price changes that competitors have done, sales history. Like, I use it all the time, just when I'm being nosy as well on products that I want to buy, like having a look at how the price has changed. But yeah, that's been instrumental in helping me do launch strategies and so on when understanding prices to charge.
Excellent. All right, Kevin, if people want to find you on the interwebs, maybe reach out to you, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so the best way to get through to me is through my Instagram, which is Kevin Pacman. That's PAK. And yeah, I'm pretty responsive on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. My handles on that are all the same, Kevin Pacman. But yeah, that's where I'm mainly at.
All right, and you, Jensen?
Yeah, so just Jansen Smith on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm hooked up to them all. So yeah, if you just type my name, it should come up.
Excellent. Will I be seeing either or both of you at the Sell and Scale Summit in September in Vegas?
Very highly likely.
I would absolutely love to go. It's yeah, I'll look into it. Very keen though.
All right, everybody needs to come. Everybody needs to come to my Zumba class on the first day so we can get our bodies right. We'll have Kevin do it shirtless since he's a bodybuilder. He said so. So that'll bring some more crowd to our Zumba class right there. But anyways, guys, if you haven't heard of that, you want to get more information. Gary Vee is going to be speaking there, and a lot of great speakers. Kevin King, inside and outside of the Amazon world. We have Walmart is the main sponsor. There will be Walmart representatives there. If you guys wanted to ask questions to them directly, there'll be Amazon representatives there. It's going to be one of the biggest Amazon conferences or e-commerce conferences overall that has ever been made. So guys, go to h10.me/S3 for more information. h10.me/S3. If you want to go ahead and sign up, you can use my coupon code to get $100 off is S3BS100, S3BS100. All right, Jansen, Kevin, I hope to see you both in September there, and then we can all hang out in person. And if not, I'll be, definitely keeping in contact and wish you the best of success in your future Amazon journeys.